Yeah, but
Yo, go out, get shot. Because you don't want to take that seriously.
don't
Well,
go to Canada, Eric, because there's different
scientifically,
provinces. Go ahead.
scientifically, right now we are up to what they said six or nine variants, different variants,
Oh, the
right,
strain. Oh,
of the strand already. It's like, and then someone else was saying that it's going to end up being like the flu, like they're going to have to make a vaccine every year, trying to
God.
figure out the
100%, yeah,
It
100%.
took a year to get the first vaccine made.
and I mean they got three of them right now, three of them that they're giving out to people, and actually two of them, one of them just got approved,
Mm-hmm.
but they're saying there are going to be so many variants at some point that they're going to have to do almost a vaccine every year, like they do with the flu. That then they're going to start guessing, well, which one's going to be out, which one we going to use.
Mm-hmm. And they said the Johnson one is effective because I got a noti about an hour ago, and they said that the FDA grants emergency use authorization for the Johnson vaccine, so it must be doing something.
And it's only one shot.
Yeah.
No, I think that one's only 60% effective.
Oh, 60%?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, that doesn't sound very
Never
approval.
mind.
I just think it
Yeah,
was
I mean, you're gonna take one shot.
Nah.
FDA, what you doing? But yeah, don't go to Canada, Eric, because since they got three provinces, those three provinces got different, um, uh, I guess, rules. And one of the other YouTubers, his name is Wolfie. He had like a romantic getaway, and he went to, I think he went to Quebec, and he's from Ottawa, but I think he went to another province because there was like a nice hotel or a nice like a pod that he and his girlfriend were staying in, and they didn't know the rules there, so they went out to go get some supplies, and a police officer pulled him over, and I think like fined him $5,000 or $6,000.
Oh no.
So Canada's
I mean, if that doesn't motivate you to stay in the house, yo, I don't know what will.
yeah.
Yo, what you doing now? Getting bread. All right, yo, get your bread and here's a ticket. And
Like, ooh, that's some money.
Crazy world right now.
I mean, I thought there was like a rumor of them trying to do that around here, starting those what's that called? Those can't think of the name.
Describe it.
Curfews.
Curfews. There you go.
They can't enforce it.
Yeah, starting the curfews. I'm like, yo, what if you gotta work? It's like, oh, we're giving out these little letters for people that gotta work. And I'm like, all right, cool. Then I hear people, yo, can you give me a letter so I can be out past this time and show this to the police? I'm like, yo, you literally just defeat their purpose. But okay.
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
Yeah, how can they enforce that?
Too hard to enforce it. You got people trying to sue you because you're violating their liberties and stuff like that. Like, it's too much.
Mm-hmm.
We got too much freedom, and now we can't do anything about this virus.
Yeah.
Right.
Too many different people thinking they're smart and they're not.
Big fact.
Yeah. So, any changes in your future goals since this COVID started?
A lot of changes. I was hoping to have a full-time job by now. I was hoping to get me a little nice apartment and working,
Okay.
you know,
Same.
Okay.
Same as
saving up
Eric.
for some stuff.
Same as
Now,
Eric. Hoping to
COVID
have my own
jacked up my
place,
life.
full-time job, but nah, COVID's like, stop, drop, stop what you're doing.
Don't even roll.
Don't pass go. Yo, don't pass go. So
Yeah, because I was actually supposed to be in the military, or at least be in a program with the military by now.
said who?
Huh?
Never mind. You'll learn that in the military.
Yeah. I was supposed to be, in the process with the military a year ago. Maybe a year and a half ago, I was supposed to actually already be back in school. I was supposed to be going to Howard at the beginning of the year. Well, with all the COVID protocols and all that stuff, it changed them, and it also changed the military. So things have changed, and now the process for still trying to go through the military right now is changing and all that. So it's very different with the goals, but hopefully I can still achieve them. Um, but goals have definitely been halted by a whole lot. Moving up and getting full-time jobs and going back to school and all the plans that you had set out kind of took a back seat.
Yeah, I would say with
Nah,
me,
those plans are in the trunk, yo. Shit, like it's rough.
well, so I had planned on having like 20 speaking engagements lined up by the beginning of this year. And needless to say, people aren't really hiring people to do anything in person. So I can get some more states out of the way. I got 18 states left. And because of COVID, I didn't see any new ones last year at all. Um, and trying to get like speaking engagements outside of the house. Like, no, everybody's doing virtual things. And I'm like, okay, virtual is nice, but
Same.
and so I didn't have a game plan on how to get like virtual speaking engagements. And so because I didn't have that kind of mindset, it just kind of all like fell into one thing. And it just didn't happen. Like even ones like I was supposed to do a speaking engagement for AIM. That didn't happen because AIM ended up getting canceled after they're like, oh yeah, we'll do AIM virtual. That didn't happen. There was supposed to be a evangelism something
A lot of logistics.
for Virginia One. That didn't happen either. So it's like, okay, well, all these other things that you might have gotten to do, like you've done in years past, just didn't happen because of COVID, and people are just trying to be, COVID required cutting things down, and then those things that got cut down, it was like, well, are we going to do what we can, or what else is going on? And then, of course, Bishop Thomas passed, so everything from summer to October was done for. It's like we're not doing anything for the state. So it's just like, okay, well that doesn't help any. Like I'm not doing any. Don't have any FaceTime with the other elders and things like that to make those things happen. COVID put a kibosh on a lot of dreams that I had for 2020, and traveling. Yep, that won't be the same for a long time, and we'll see. We'll see if by the end of this year, if I can get some places under my belt. We'll see.
Yeah, and I think for you, especially, well, in terms of speaking, uh, talking to someone or speaking in front of someone is more effective in person because especially um, when I've noticed this since I've taken over this new class and the time that I've been with them, talking virtually, everything that goes on with them, it goes like through one ear and out the other, or it just goes right over their head, and then their retention or their retention and attention span is just so short, and they don't grasp everything that they would probably have gotten if it was in person. And I think virtual a lot of times can be good, but a lot of times it's just especially for this new generation is going down. So for us, we're good. For the older generation, the millennials as well, I think we're all right. But for the people that are coming after us, it's I don't know, it's not looking too good.
I feel like kids that are just new to school, like this year, if last year was your first year of kindergarten, all you've known is virtual learning, basically.
Right.
Virtual learning and having your mask on, you got to sit 6 feet apart. It's maybe like 10 of y'all in the classroom. That's all they know. So
Mm.
now they're coming into their first grade year of first grade or first graders now. That's all they know. So what happens after this? What happens when we finally return in person? They have to adjust all over again to school, learn all these new rules and stuff, how to go. I think it's going to be incredibly hard for people coming after us.
Right.
I remember back in my day, it would be about 40 of us in the class squished in there.
Right. Yeah. But I feel like this generation got hit with really stupid, ironic cliche that like the older generation was always saying, "Oh, all you do is spend time on that computer, that phone, that game system," and now it's forced. It's like you don't spend enough time in front of your computer in school.
Mhm.
It's like a complete turnaround. It's like, oh well, me sitting in front of my Xbox for 8 hours is poison, but now I gotta sit in front of my computer and be school for 8 hours, and it's a thing. I have to.
Yeah.
I'm learning, so it's healthy for me now compared to being unhealthy, like the older generation would say. So
Can't be.
now, yeah, now you're stuck in that weird cliche. It's like, oh well, it's you got to do it. You can't not go to school.
I think one of the things that is going to be missing from the kids now is that competition and socialization that you need, especially. So I am thankful and God blessed. My kids have been able to go to school in person, 6 foot, still 6 foot apart, mask all day, the whole nine. But for most of the kids, that socialization, especially at this age, that is needed, they're not gonna see it. You can't tell a preschooler sit in front of this computer for half of the day and you're gonna be all right. He's missing that competitive nature that happens when you in person with people. Like there are some people that you got to fight with in person that you're not gonna be able to because y'all all at home being yelled at by mom and dad to do your work and pay attention. We're like, no, I just want to hang out with my friends. But even in kindergarten, there is a certain amount of competition that comes with knowing that you have somebody else sitting next to you that's going to do better than you if you don't pay attention. You don't have to deal with that. If I was sitting in school with all y'all, I'm like, I ain't worried about y'all. I'm sitting right here. And for some of them, it's like, what's on this screen? What's on this screen? And that's one of the things. They are at home trying to work at home like the adults that are working at home. And so it's a craziness. They are going to run into some challenges that we haven't even begun to imagine yet.
Yeah, I mean, you can't tell someone to not do nothing in their own house. Like when I was in high school, I couldn't just get up and go to the cafeteria when I wanted to. I had to wait for that lunch period. But if I'm sitting in front of the computer learning and I'm hungry, I got a kitchen right downstairs. I'm going straight down there, getting whatever I want, whatever I can.
Right.
And what are you gonna do? Like, what do you want to do besides tell me get back in front of the computer?
Exactly.
Like, are you going to suspend me? Tell me not to get on the computer? Like, that's what I want.
You can
So,
turn your mic off. You can stop your video. You can have a second screen. Turn your Xbox on. Go to the bathroom. You can do all that,
bro,
and
I'd be bad
nobody.
about it too. I got this monitor here. I'd have my Xbox on the entire day.
bruh. So
I'm
when they hit me
missing
with
nothing.
that, when they hit me with admin week, bro, they'd be like, "Yo, this is admin week. We're just doing training." I'd be like, "All right." Turn my chair 45 degrees. Turn my Xbox on and be like, "Yo, I'm here. I'm here." See,
Crazy.
I mean, there's nothing you can do when you're not there in person, bro. Like, temptation wins, You're sitting at your house with all this stuff, like,
Hmm.
and then it's like it's unexpected, so it's not like it's planned or organized. It's always so unorganized. There's always somebody with a technical difficulty.
Mm.
There's always someone we gotta wait on because they say they can't see the shared screen. The
Yeah.
person that's supposed to present can't share their screen. Their PowerPoint's not working, bro. So it's like,
They don't know how to unmute. They don't know how to turn their video
They
on.
don't know
yo,
how to mute.
bro, there's always somebody in the background, bro.
Bruh.
Making noise. You mute your phone, dude.
Right. And then the host will mute them, and then they unmute again. Like, bruh. Like,
No, what are you
Just
oh my
doing?
gosh.
You doing this on purpose at this point?
Yeah.
Do you
Somebody doesn't know
hear,
how to use filters.
Bruh.
bro?
You don't need to use
You over here
filters.
showing your tea and how to make tea and all that stuff. But like these students, like it's so frustrating and so annoying, especially since we're reopening school. We started reopening school, especially for the freshmen this past week. All right, so the freshmen got 2 days to know where their class are for those that are coming in the building. It's not a lot, but at least they had the time to come in and get to know their teachers a little bit and know their classrooms where they are, so that when everything comes back for the rest of the 10th, 11th, and 12th graders, they know where to go and what to do. But in class, since we've changed it, it used to be, I think Eric and Jay and Jason remember this. We used to have even days on one day, odd days on the next, even odd. Andre also as well, because I think they started it with your specific generation. Well, that's not anymore how it is right now. It's Tuesday, Wednesdays, it's even. Thursdays and Fridays, it's odd. So we see two class periods 2 days in a row now instead of alternating days. So one class, we share the same announcements. This is what's going on. And the second day, we go over the same announcements, same dates. All right. So I see one class, I say, all right, here's your announcements for this day. The second class, I see them, I say the same announcements. We just went over it yesterday. All right. It's now Thursday and Friday. Hey, Mr. Mabry, what's going on with the announcements from this day? Like, are we doing it same? Are we doing it different? Bro, I just told you the same announcements. What do you keep asking? Like, what are you doing? You're literally looking at the screen with a blank face, and I'm thinking you're okay because if you don't say anything, I'm like, all right, that's a yes. But another student, we actually figured out, okay, he's not actually paying attention because he accidentally unmuted himself, and he got anime playing in the back. I hear, Hajime. I'm like, bro, what you doing? This man got anime playing in the back. I'm like, okay, I knew you guys aren't listening, so it's on y'all. Y'all are the ones that are messing up.
Got caught up.
Got caught up. Big.
That's how it be. I mean, exactly. I don't know, that virtual is just, it's different. Like, you, for one, it's harder to pay attention when it's virtual, bro. Like, looking at a computer screen it's not the same as playing a game, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need that interaction. Like, you need to be in there writing, transferring classes and doing stuff like that. Seeing the teacher writing on a board, having to get up and write on the board and stuff like that. But like, sitting in here and they ask a question and you can just mute your mic, play some static and be okay. It's different.
It's definitely harder. Sure, it is harder.
So what about church? Like, how does that
church,
I guess, affect what y'all, like how you interact with your pastor, the other members, things like that? Because I know we all go to church or attend a church. So like, how does that affect your walk with Christ, one, or your walk with God, your relationship with God, how you interact with each other? Like, what is that like from a virtual? And we've been doing this for a year, so how's that looking? How's that feeling for y'all?
I think it's definitely harder. You have to have more like a determination that you're gonna walk with God. You're gonna seek out, like, draw closer to God, have a better relationship with Him. Because, like you said, you don't have to go into the church. A lot of the stuff, if it's not on Zoom, it's on Facebook Live or YouTube. They can't even see you. There is no need for me to even come and watch your service. I can just go watch another service if I want to. Like, there's no connection or tie to the church. Either you want to be there or you don't. I guess it was the same when we were in person. You had a choice whether you wanted to be there, but I feel like there's no connection. There's no pull to be there. You know?
Here's the one with the black hood.
I know for me, I just watch the YouTube service, but there's no personal connection there. You can't, like, there's no neighbor next to you to console with or just motivate you to get closer to God.
Oh, you was
it's all on you. Huh?
You was laying hands?
No. No. I mean, like, they say that
lay hands on
to
your neighbor.
commune with the people in your church and whatnot. And there's no one to commune with, to worship with and whatnot.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I feel that, because it's definitely, especially when we've been in this for a year now, but in the beginning it was definitely kind of awkward talking or fellowshipping with someone in the church, especially it was only for like the I guess the few or essential people that went to the church at the beginning. But even for those essential people that were going to the church, like the pastor or the cameraman and the musicians and all that, it was still awkward because you're standing, across the 6 feet with all this distance, talking about a regular conversation that we used to have, a month ago, sitting down across from each other. So it's just like, wow, it's just changed so much that even your walk is different now. Before there were altar calls and holding hands, praying together. And now there's none of that. So it's just like that physical connection is kind of absent.
Yeah, no, I agree with y'all in the sense of I am, like I tell y'all all the time, I'm a huge people person. Like I enjoy being around y'all in person. Like it's one thing to be talking and having a conversation over Zoom, but it's another thing to be in the same room, y'all laughing and y'all hearing the laughs, the echoes and things. But when it comes to worshiping, there's just a sound in worship when there are people worshiping God with you, like praising. The songs even hit a little different when there are people worshiping with you. And even after a year, I guess for me, one of my biggest things is finding more ways to worship. From an evangelism standpoint, right? Like I like to talk to people so that they might know God, so that they might know Christ. Um, and so having to figure out ways to do that from a virtual standpoint, it's like, okay, well, you have to convince us to be interested in your entertainment. No, I'm not trying to entertain you. Like that's not what it's about. But when it's in person and you're having a one-on-one conversation, you can see people's body language. You can see their mannerisms. They can't just turn off the video. You have no idea if you're talking to them or you're talking to somebody else. And so I think for me, it feels at times disconnected. But the awesome thing about God is all over the place at the same time. And I think for me, remembering that when I'm praying, remembering that when I'm singing a song, when we're doing praise and worship, when the YouTube premiere version of the video comes on, get in there and praise and worship with them there. And sometimes I just gotta close my eyes and like imagine myself in it. And this is a year later, right? We still gotta close my eyes and just worship, so I feel like I'm in the presence there and let God do the rest. Yeah, because it does take a little bit away with when you don't get to hear your brothers and your sisters worshiping with you. You want to be praying with them during the altar calls, during the corporate prayers, and you're not hearing them, yes, Lord, I think, going for it. Yeah, there's just something about that.
Yeah. Well, you got Jason?
You gotta wrap it up, man.
Jay, what about you? Nothing to say about it?
I was slightly distracted. Someone was talking to me, telling me stuff, so I missed the question.
It was about like how's like church been affected, like how you feeling with COVID and all that.
I mean, there's like a big gap missing, because I know for a fact going to church on those Tuesdays and Thursday nights was it was like that big social interaction thing. Meeting with the other young adults was like a big part of church. So you mean it's kind of like a big chunk missing, and it's kind of hard to readapt and see that, and to get the same feel that you would get from going in person compared to just rolling over and clicking a button. Now you're there.
It required a little bit more commitment too. Think about it. Like if you had to get up, get dressed, drive down there, you make your mind up. Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm still half asleep. Let me just put it on, hide my video, and we're doing something totally different. because we still have those distractions as well when it comes to virtual. It's like, oh yeah, are we gonna pay attention to this entire one? Or are we gonna work on something else? Because I'm guilty of it too. I'm like, oh, I have a deadline for this. Yeah, let me go hide myself and work on this deadline. It's not all the time, but it's just one of the. It's the realness of it. We're virtual. We can get a little bit more done, but at the same time, you're missing something.
Yeah. The last thing I'll say is, especially what you were just talking about, how there's distractions, especially with students. Sometimes students will even have kids that they have to tend to, and having that time where they actually went to school was their time to actually go to school and bunker down. But now, since they're at home, they can't have any else watch over their child because they'd be afraid of their baby getting the virus or anything like that. As well as students have family members, as well as some families are hosting other families. So there might be other kids in the background screaming or anything like that that they have to tend to, or there's just so many things that go around in the background that you might not know of. So there's just so much going on that COVID-19 has affected with not just one person. It's everybody. So many distractions.
Distractions and a lack of motivation.
Mhm. And if y'all had known about this going on, what would you have done differently?
Like if we knew what was about to happen.
Yeah.
I would have invested in Zoom. I'm just being completely honest.
Yeah.
I would have bought me some Zoom stock last year before COVID kicked in, and some toilet tissue and some Lysol wipes.
Right.
People were snatching toilet tissue at the beginning.
It's just
they're fighting over it in Walmart.
But yeah, I would have probably bought some stock in Zoom too, because it's actually very funny. When I was investing my time into Herbalife with one of my coaches and all that, and I was working at Polo at the time, and this was probably like 2018 or 2018. So pretty much a year before Zoom had this big kickoff or that blew up. We were using Zoom, and I was like, bro, what is Zoom? Like, this is kind of, it's like, okay, but like, what is it? And then I was actually using it, and then now we're on Zoom. I'm like, bro, look at Zoom, man. So inspirational. Oh my God.
But the glow up is real. The glow up is real.
Because they was not prepared, like you said, Eric. They was just
there was no way to prepare. Like, why would you ever think that this would happen? A single virus would come in and infect all the world, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're on lockdown. You're on restrictions.
Yep.
And it happened so quick. What'd you say, Jason?
Oh, I said sort of every 20 years, some pandemics going on, like the Black Plague, bubonic plague, and all that stuff. But people don't really look at that and wait for the day to come.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the restrictions, bro, is like an uncle or aunt that you don't like trying to tell you what to do. Yo, you just not gonna listen. So y'all know y'all got that one uncle or that one aunt that try to tell you what to do, but you just don't listen. So yo, I wouldn't do that if I was you. Yeah, whatever, and go do it anyway. Mm-hmm. At this point, bro, it's like yo, don't go out. And you're like, yo, whatever, go out. So then there's nothing they can do about it. So it's not like, yo, I'm gonna tell your parents. What are they gonna do? Nothing. So
not when your uncles are on it.
Yo.
Them crazy uncles. They may throw something at me if I wasn't listening.
All right.
Oh, Dean.
I can see that.
All right, so we're gonna wrap up.
Go ahead, man.
Go ahead, wrap it up.
Say that outro.
Yeah, so to see more of AMP Family and what we're going to talk about in the future. And y'all have a good night and stay amped. Peace.
Peace.
Hello.